A French company planning to ban all email by 2013. It says it's an instrument to shirk responsibility. Consumers and business increasingly migrating to newer forms of communication, like social media, meaning email usage is declining, particularly amongst the young. Question being, will we see email being totally phased out, or is it in fact here to stay? Well, let's get up to speed with this with social media expert Thomas Tuto with me in studio. A warm welcome to you, Thomas.
Good morning.
Is this just a kind of a headline-grabbing initiative, or really do you think there's smoke with this fire? Is this one going to actually stick?
Yeah, I think it will. You know, this is obviously a bit of a stunt by this company, but there is a migration away from traditional technology to more social-orientated communication now. Things like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, they're very publicly facing or very outward facing, but businesses are starting to adapt and they're using them for internal purposes. And in this case of this French company, they're saying, hang on, no need for email, we're going to do all these things through social media sites.
Yeah, but what about an actual a record of what's been sent, what's been delivered, what's been received, and all of that? It makes it arguably less certain.
That's the complete downside here for this French company. Email is particularly secure and it's particularly confidential. Now, if you share things on social media sites, how long are they going to be permanent for? You know, you might want the permanency of email, but you might put something on a social networking site and it's there forever. Or you might lose it after a month or two, and that's the real danger. But, you know, I think with things like social media, you have a more vibrant conversation. Now, if you use this for internal business purposes, you can have a more dynamic many-to-many conversation that's just not so rigid as email, as back and forth, group email, you know, forward on. You know, social media is far more dynamic than that, and I think businesses are starting to adapt and say, we can get more bang for our buck by using social media inside the business.
That's the thing. Backwards and forwards is it goes without saying, it's almost a byword for email, but when it comes to the likes of Twitter, you're not always wanting that engagement. It's not always a two-way street, is it? It's simply often just about broadcasting an event, but you don't want to be flooded with replies. You can't hope to answer them.
Yeah, and that's right. And I think you've got to pick your medium. You know, there are plenty of social networking sites out there, and especially in the Australian example, businesses are still finding their way through what's good for us. Now, Twitter might be, if you're a news agency, you're a retail outlet, or you might be delivering something in the public lobbying space, Twitter is great for you for a broadcast message. But if you are looking to manage a small, confidential team, maybe Facebook's better for you, and I think that's where businesses need to find their way. Now, in the US and the UK, they're well advanced on this path, but in our Australian counterparts, they're still finding their way, and I think you've got to realise, well, what is best for us, what is best for our business model, and what can we do best in a confidential manner that will get us most return on investment over the long run.
What point do you cross that divide between something being a fad, a phenomenon, and actually being here to stay? What are the signs and signals you need to see?
I think there are two measures. Public take-up. Now, if you look at Google+, it is a huge investment by Google into the social market. Now, has it worked? Well, it's all the early adopters, people like journalists, dare I say it. Now, it hasn't tipped past the main public mass. Now, from my point of view, I'd say that probably hasn't worked for them then. And the other one is longevity. Things come and go in the social media space so often. New sites come up every sort of week to 2 weeks. Now, if you're over there for the 12-month, 18-month period, I think we can say, well, this one's in for the long run.
Because what about Second Life? Everyone said that was going to be the way of the future. The advertisers would be clamouring on board. You know, what happened to it?
Again, I think that's very niche, and you have to tip past that mass market point where people go, oh, what is this site? I want to join it. And things like Facebook and Twitter, YouTube, Foursquare have gone to that point, whereas Google Plus and Second Life really haven't hit that mark.
Have you got to the bottom of whether it really is Rupert there on Twitter?
It is.
Today, it is it?
I think it's he provides a lot of good insight, actually, and he even scolds his own typing skills, which is good.
The turn of phrase, is that really Rupert?
It's very personal. When I first started reading the tweets, I go, is this the real deal myself? I thought it's full of spelling and grammar mistakes, but I think that's the beauty about Twitter. You can convey your real person.
And yet they verified Wendy and then had to do an about-face. So if they got that wrong.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You know, this market moves very fast and anybody can make mistakes, even big tech giants.
Thomas, thank you. Come back another time.
Good to have you.
Mr. Fresh Insight. Thomas Tuto there, social media expert, no less. The key trend of 2012. is going to be the shift to mobiles and tablets, a continuation, really, of what's been happening in 2011. It'll force, though, many companies to fundamentally transform their business models and create mobile strategies. Well, Sky News business reporter Nigel Freitas sitting down with Fode Fagaki, our research director of Telsight, to look back on the year we've just had and really look ahead at the tech trends of 2012.
So last year was a watershed year for smartphones and also media tablets in Australia. We saw roughly 8.8 million smartphone users come on board in total, and we saw roughly 2.5 million media tablet users. So we're starting to see the shift happening from PCs to other devices and doing more computational activities on these other devices. And that's created a significant amount of change for both the media industry and also the tech industry, who have kind of gone into a bit of a frenzy to try and meet this changing demand.
And what do you think are the key trends we have to look forward to for the rest of 2012?
Well, in 2012, we're going to see a continuation of this post-PC era trend that's happening. So we'll see a lot of people buying maybe their second media tablet device, and many more people starting to buy it for the first time. We'll see a range of applications that become part of our day-to-day life that we couldn't imagine what it was like before that, whether it be the public transport applications or the banking applications that we use on our phones. We're going to see a continuation of this online discount and shopping trend, which maybe started with kind of the group buying phenomenon that happened last year in 2011, but we'll see that morph and change into something else this year. We'll see a lot more products being available rather than just health spas and some of those travel offers that we've been sort of gravitating towards. So we think that there's going to be a maturation of kind of these things that kind of happened last year in 2011.
2011 was a big year for the cloud, both on the business and the consumer side. Is that going to continue through 2012, or are security concerns going to hold people back?
I think the security concerns are being overshadowed by the simplicity desire from the consumer side of things anyway. So we all own multiple devices. We want to synchronize all our content across all of them. We want to be able to view anything at any time. We don't want to worry about what version we've got on what computer and so forth. So the use of these kinds of cloud services makes that a lot easier, whether it's across different computers or across your phone and your computer or your tablet. So from a consumer point of view, it's very much a no-brainer. It's often the best way of doing things, and it's been kind of drilled into their heads through their use of things like Facebook and Gmail, which are cloud services themselves. So it's a continuation of that. For businesses, it's a realization that there's some cost benefits, there's advantages, and there's agility in bringing to market cloud-based services, whereas big legacy systems of the past take a long time to bring to market new products and services. So for the larger businesses, it's about being competitive with the smaller businesses that do use cloud-based offerings.
What about on the mobility front? Australia already has one of the highest smartphone usage rates in the world. Are we going to see that continue? Are we going to see more growth in tablets as well?
Well, if you look a little bit beyond 2012 even, what we anticipate is that by 2014, there'll be actually a larger audience of people on smartphones than there is on the internet right now. So that has a massive ramification for anyone who's doing e-commerce right now. For media companies, for example, there's newspaper businesses that have just kind of figured out online right now, or they're starting to charge online. Well, I hate to break it to them, but in the next 2 or 3 years, they'll have to totally reinvent their businesses again to address that larger opportunity, which will be on the mobile screen, whether that be a tablet or a smartphone. And we're seeing smartphone screens also get bigger, which makes them more suitable for different kinds of applications. So there's that's kind of happening, but also there's that rapid cannibalization of other devices out there. So whether it's cameras, very few people will be carrying standalone cameras next year. The iPhone 4S and some of the other devices on the market have very good photography lenses and so forth. Portable media devices, portable gaming devices, all these kinds of things are starting to be rapidly kind of cannibalized by these smartphones. And on the tablet side, you're seeing a lot of people delaying their purchase decisions around their next PC. They're saying, well, do I really need another PC? Can I make do with a tablet in the meantime? Is it more easier to do things? Is it, can I do everything I already can do on my computer, and do I not need to upgrade it, and so forth? So I think it's going to be a massive year for the media tablet. We're going to see massive price drops as well for devices that aren't the iPad, and I think that will also spur a new market.
We also heard a lot about social media in 2011, but the majority of the impact there really seems to be on the consumer side. Is that going to be the case for 2012, or are we going to start to see the emergence of what people are calling social business?
Look, I think social media is coming to a mature sort of state right now. Recently we heard that LinkedIn, for example, almost half the white-collar professional people in Australia are on LinkedIn right now. So it's starting to reach a point of a mass market usage. We're seeing 2/3 of the Australian online population on Facebook. Twitter has a little bit to go still. It's still finding its legs and its use, and some people are still struggling to find that, but we do think that will grow over time as well. So as we're coming into this maturing phase, businesses need to understand that it's not about the experimentation as much as it was, and it's a lot more about the execution, and it's an operational issue in many ways. Another very important thing that we think will happen this year, which will cast the business community's eyes on this space, will be the IPO of Facebook, which to date, rumours of around about $100 billion IPO, and that will be amazing when it does happen.
We hear a lot about social media, the cloud and mobility. What about other trends that aren't that talked about but might still have a big impact this year?
Look, I think one of the things that we are revising right now is the rate that devices are being cannibalised by things like smartphones and tablets. So we're already seeing roughly 2.5 million Australians having access to a media tablet device after a period of about 15 months of availability in the market. That's an incredible adoption rate. So we actually believe that we're probably going to see less PC purchases. It's actually going to be a poor performing year for PCs, for computers and even Macs in some way. So that might be a little bit surprising. I think the other thing to look out for is the growth of Android as an operating system, both for media tablet devices and also smartphones in the next 12 months. We think that the breadth of offerings there and the quality of the platform is going to increase significantly in the next 12 months. And that will bring a lot more people onto that platform.
That's our show. We'll see you again next time.